Hello everyone and welcome to another video on the Sports Stories podcast. Now for today's video, now that the season has come to a close, we had the playoffs. So I was going to do my playoff predictions, and this will probably be the last one that you do see on the channel for, at least for this season, because I'm not going to be going through the playoffs like every single week. So whatever I say here is either going to be really bad or really good. Last season, very bad. I believe I said the Cowboys were going all the way. And, that's just tough to look back on. It was not great. Definitely got a lot of flack. A lot of flack from people that I knew doing that one. Yeah, because let me see here. So far, so I had the Bills Cowboys Super Bowl. Last season I had the Cowboys beating the Bills. I had the Rams beating the Cardinals, which did happen. Then I had the Cowboys beating the 49ers, which didn't happen. And then I had the the Buccaneers beating the Eagles, which happened. Then I had the Rams beating the Packers, which did happen. And then I had the Cowboys beating the Buccaneers, which didn't happen because it was 49ers versus Buccaneers. And I don't remember who won. Oh, Buccaneers, I think, won that one. And then it was Rams Buccaneers. And then I had it was Rams Cowboys, and I had Cowboys winning. But, not the best performance. Not the best performance, if I do say so myself. And then on the AFC side, decent. I had the Chiefs beating the Steelers, Bills beating the Patriots, and the Bengals beating the Raiders. Then I had the Bengals beating the Titans. And then I had the Bills beating the Chiefs. So it was Bills Bengals. And then I had Bills beating the Bengals. But the Bills Chiefs game was a great playoff game. But yeah, let's go ahead and hope maybe this season we get another big playoff game. So far, looking through the seeding, it doesn't it feels unfulfilling, but maybe NFL scriptwriters have something up their sleeve to give us something good. But without further ado, let's just jump right into the actual playoff predictions for this season. Now we're just going to be going through the NFC first and the AFC, and just keep that pattern going. But we're going to be starting in the top right-hand corner, where we got the number 4 seed Buccaneers going up against the number 5 seed Cowboys. Now this one we already saw the first game of the season, where the Buccaneers did win. But since then, both teams have had a very up and down season. Dak Prescott was injured in that game, which led to the Cooper Rush era for the Dallas Cowboys, which felt like a long time ago, but it really wasn't. And Cooper Rush did his thing. Dak came back. Cowboys had some of their issues, but they were able to get it done. Then as for the Buccaneers, definitely the most unfulfilling season that I've seen the Buccaneers have. But they made it to the playoffs, I believe, with probably one of the weaker records that they have home field advantage in, because this one is going to be in Tampa Bay. They're 8-9, and they made it to a home game, which I believe the Vikings had a winning season. 49ers had a winning season. Bills had a winning season. Bengals and Jaguars did. So the Buccaneers are just playing in a really weak division, and they have been allowed a home game with an 8-9 record. Now I'm not exactly sure on the odds. I might just have to look it up here, but it's kind of a toss-up for me since these teams already played. I feel like it's kind of a lot of people are just deciding to put the Buccaneers as the winner, mainly because they already played. Both teams really showed themselves, so it was kind of easy to say who's gonna win. But the Cowboys coming in to this one, they are the favorites, I believe. Looking at it here, it looks like the Cowboys are favored by -2.5. So definitely, they think it's going to be a close one. And the Cowboys have been when the Cowboys have been favored over an opponent which a lot of people think are going to win. Who knows? And I mean, the Cowboys are coming into this one with a pretty disappointing loss against the Washington Commanders, where Dak Prescott did not show his best performance. I believe he threw 2 picks, pretty easy ones for the Commanders, in my opinion. Not the best game by CeeDee Lamb. So a lot of people are counting them out, which is fair. I mean, their performance just a week before this game is, it wasn't the best. So I can't necessarily blame the entire NFL media and NFL fans alike to really criticize Dak Prescott's ability and this Cowboys team's ability. Now the Buccaneers are going into this one again with a loss against the Falcons, but it hurts them a little bit less since they benched most of their starters like halfway through the game. Which, they didn't even need to play their starters because, they already clinched the NFC South. They might have done it for seeding, but none of the teams that that won their divisions was closer to their record. So, don't really know why they started their starters, but at least they benched them through the half, unlike the Chargers. I think it hurt the Cowboys a little bit more since they were trying to play their starters and trying to get that number 1 seed, and they still lost to a Commanders team that started their 3rd-string quarterback, Sam Howell, and Sam Howell basically outperformed Dak Prescott in the game, which was pretty wild. A rookie Sam Howell, which a lot of people were not expecting him to really do the most. Sam Howell went. He went 11 for 19, 169, a touchdown and an interception. But he had less passing attempts than Dak Prescott, and had more passing yards, along with the same touchdown to interception ratio, and were outrushed by the Commanders, with a total of 151 to 64 yards. So, the Commanders just had a great game, and the Cowboys didn't look too good on defense, but maybe they could have just been doing it nonchalant. They already had the playoffs in the bag. They just wanted a higher seeding, but it did hurt them to lose and still have their starters out there and risk potential injury. So that's why a lot of eyes are on the Cowboys, and a lot of eyes specifically on Dak Prescott. Now, looking at the Buccaneers situation, this could be Tom Brady's final season, but we've been saying this for like 3 seasons in a row, so I'm not even sure if he is going to be retiring. People saying, that he might retire, but really, I'm not sure if this man is ever going to retire. Because after that first Super Bowl by the Buccaneers, everybody's going to say he retire. Before even that first Super Bowl with the Buccaneers, he goes, he leaves the Patriots, and everybody's like, okay, he's gonna retire. Doesn't retire. Wins the Super Bowl, and then they're like, okay, doesn't retire. Makes it to the playoffs, loses in the playoffs. Okay, he's gonna retire. Doesn't. Comes back, or actually no, he does retire and then comes back from retirement. It's like, yeah, I'm playing, and then everything in his personal life happened. And then the Buccaneers are coming in this one, not too shabby really, I'd say. Great, not the greatest performances that they've had. And mind you, the first game against the Cowboys was still a very close one. It wasn't like it was a blowout by the Buccaneers. It was still close. Who knows if Dak Prescott would have started in that one and not been injured? Would the Buccaneers have even won that one? So we really don't know. Both teams are really coming into this one healthy. But I might have to go with the upset here and choose the Cowboys to go on. Now I know it's a tad bit of an upset because Cowboys, they're going to be away. They're going to be in Tampa Bay. And their main offensive skill is running the ball, and Buccaneers have one of the better defensive lines, but I feel that the Buccaneers just haven't proved to me much this season. Now, you could argue Tom Brady's just a different beast, okay? He's basically Giannis. He's the Giannis of the playoffs. Giannis, he does his thing in the regular season, but when it comes postseason time, it's a different beast. But I feel like for this season, it's more than just the offense and Tom Brady. I don't really believe in the Buccaneers' rush game. Cowboys have a pretty good defensive line led by Micah Parsons, who has kind of quieted down so far in the second half of the season, but I still think he's still a great rusher there, and could give Tom Brady a difficult time there in the pocket. And the run game again just hasn't been that strong, so there could be some trouble running the ball for them. Trayvon Diggs looks virtually locked down. So I'm sure they're probably going to put him on Mike Evans, so excited to see how that battle goes. But I mean, the Cowboys just look pretty good. I think they look better going into this one than the Buccaneers. I'd say that the Cowboys have lost some games against some very important teams and very good teams, but I feel that the Buccaneers, just haven't looked that good. So I'm going to have to go with the Cowboys here, in my opinion. Now moving down here to the the Giants at Vikings game, with the number 3 seed Vikings at home going up against the number 6 seed Giants, who the Giants might have Coach of the Year Brian Daboll. I mean, just the sheer, I don't even know how he did it. Okay, virtually the same roster. Nothing really big added to the Giants. I mean, you have Kayvon Thibodeaux, which was a great draft pick at the spot that they had him at. But I mean, nothing really too extravagant. Nothing was added to the team to make them surprisingly better, right? They didn't get any star wide receivers. No, they basically kept Saquon Barkley. Saquon Barkley was injured last season, so maybe that's what made them better. But the Giants just amazing performance. But mainly from Brian Daboll. Great, I think, by him. Just him being a coach, a good coach. I mean, can't really say much. I think it's just surprising that the Giants are here in the playoffs for the first time since 2016. Beat the boat picture curse. With all of them once they made the playoffs in 2016. And they never made it to the playoffs again. I'll probably show it in the video, but amazing picture. And they never made it to the playoffs again. And they're here. Giants overall, really good season put together mainly by Brian Daboll. A lot of people are calling for the re-signing of Daniel Jones, which is interesting because I felt that, he just hasn't been, I feel like he isn't the greatest performer, right? He hasn't shown anything that it makes him worthy of a re-signing, in my opinion. He hasn't done too much with the ball. I feel like they've just limited his ability or his snaps to throw the ball to, not force any turnovers, really. So I think it's just a play style where they put him at, limits the risk of a turnover. Saquon Barkley was doing really good at the beginning of the season, but he's been also quieted during the second half, so not sure how he's going to do. The offensive line, it's improved. It doesn't look too bad. Wide receivers, Kenny Golladay made a pretty good catch last week against the Eagles, but nothing too big there. Defensively, nothing big there either. I feel like the Giants are probably the weakest team in the playoffs so far. Just looking at it, maybe you could make an argument for this matchup here between the Jaguars and Chargers. Maybe one of those teams are a little bit weaker, but I feel like the Giants, from what they provide and what they look like on paper, they may be the weakest team in the playoffs. But we'll still have to see. And then as for the Vikings, they're a team that's definitely, trailed off in the second half of the season, kind of like the Eagles. The Eagles. Where they start off really hot, and then they kind of started to decline, but the Vikings kind of went further than the Eagles in that decline. And Kirk Cousins, is making Vikings fans hard to really praise him. It's not really his performance just hasn't really shown much. And this matchup was a matchup like just a few weeks ago. Vikings narrowly won that one by a field goal. But I believe that one was in New York when they won that one. So home field advantage could play a role in who wins, who loses. I'm trying to find the game here so I can make sure that I'm actually giving the correct facts, because that'll be oh no, actually no, that one was in Minnesota. So both games are going to be in Minnesota. A lot of people are taking the Giants over the Vikings due to the Vikings kind of slipping, and also the game that they just played not even that long ago was pretty close. But I do feel that the Vikings, they're coming off of a win against Chicago, I believe. So I feel like they got a little bit of a confidence boost beating the Chicago Bears. So maybe that could help them, but I feel like it's definitely going to be an interesting matchup, but I do kind of feel based here, but give me the Vikings in this one. I know that it was close the first time. People are like, oh, it was close, and the Vikings have shown less, but I feel like the Giants have shown even, more of a decline than the Vikings have since their matchup in Week 16. The Giants haven't beat anybody too good, and then same with the Vikings. They had a pretty bad game against the Packers, but the Giants, I'm just not sure about them. They're kind of making me uneasy, so I just kind of had to go with the base pick and just choose the Vikings. But I don't know. That one's a little risky in my opinion, because it could go either way, because both teams haven't really shown much. But it's home field advantage, so I kind of gave the edge to the Vikings here. And the Giants just haven't really impressed me, so I'm going to have to go to the Vikings there. And then as for the last first round matchup, we have the number 2 49ers going up against the number 7 Seahawks. What a story for that number 7 seed for the Seahawks. I do want the Seahawks to, spoiler here, I already had the 49ers making it, okay? It was kind of a no-brainer decision for me. But I would love it if the Seahawks won, because the Lions had to sacrifice, okay? The Lions had to sacrifice their playoff spot for the Seahawks, right? And they still had to go out there and beat the Packers for the Seahawks to make it to the playoffs. The Lions really could have just lost and been like, oh, man, no playoff spot. Well, we don't even have to win. And then the Seahawks wouldn't have a playoff spot. But from what I have seen from other, broadcasters, definitely saved us from a bullet, because I would not want to see another Aaron Rodgers versus 49ers, and where the 49ers just beat down on the Packers, and then we have to be like, oh, Aaron Rodgers isn't a good playoff quarterback. Well, he isn't a good quarterback anymore, okay? So he's not even in the playoffs. And I have my own beef with Aaron Rodgers, so that's going to play a role in it. But the 49ers, they're just a complete team through and through. Great running game. Quarterback, a little bit questionable, but they have two good quarterbacks. Trey Lance, I'm still a little bit questionable on, but Jimmy G, Brock Purdy, I believe Brock Purdy's going to be starting for this one. He's shown a lot, so I feel like the 49ers, good team through the offense, good offensive line, good wide receiver core. Then you go on defense, one of the best defensive lines, one of the best defensive linemen in Nick Bosa. Secondary, a little bit weak. I'd say that's the weaker side of the ball, but Hufanga has shown a lot of promise, and I think that can only really elevate the 49ers. So, here, the 49ers already played against the Seahawks twice. and I'm not going to be expecting anything less from them. I believe they won both games, if I'm not wrong. And just so far this season, I feel like everything has just come together. I believe 10 straight wins for the 49ers, if I'm not wrong. I want to say it's 10 straight wins for the 49ers. They're coming off of an easy win over division rival in the Cardinals. So they beat the Seahawks 21-13, and then they beat them again this season 27-7. So should be a pretty easy win for the 49ers. They're playing a division matchup. It has its pros. You're going up against an opponent that you've already played twice, and you kind of know them through and through. The cons are that team has also played you twice, and they try to know you through and through. But I think the 49ers are just such a complete team that it's definitely going to be hard to stop them. So, again, give me the 49ers here. And then up in this top left-hand corner, we have the number 4 Jaguars going up against the number 5 Chargers. Now, some positive, maybe negative news for the Chargers. That Mike Williams injury, that back injury, looks like he avoided a very major injury. So he hasn't practiced yet, but he does have to practice tomorrow in order to play in this one. So I haven't gotten any official news as of right now since I have been recording. No new news about Mike Williams and his availability to play. So not sure if if he is going to play. That's definitely going to be a big hit for the Chargers if he doesn't, because the Jaguars don't have the greatest secondary. So I mean, Mike Williams could definitely help for them, especially just having another target for Justin Herbert there. But Carter, Everett, even Keenan Allen still being there. Chargers have a pretty good wide receiver core, so they shouldn't have much difficulty going up or having targets for Justin Herbert. Austin Eckler looks good, looks great. I really don't know why they played their stars against the Broncos. They didn't even need to. There's really nothing they already clinched the playoffs basically at that point. He's mainly just for seeding, but it's the Broncos. You don't even have to play your starters, and you still lost. That's also kind of tough. You still lost against the Broncos, and you played your starters. So that one, kind of took a hit in how I view the Chargers for this one. Defense. I mean, I can remember before the season, I even drafted them in fantasy football. I was like, this is going to be one of the greatest defenses of all time. Khalil Mack, J.C. Jackson, and Joey Bosa. J.C. Jackson just had the biggest fleece of the century. The Patriots knew something. They knew something because they dropped them in free agency. They didn't even try really to trade him. They just dropped him. Yeah, we don't need you. And then he goes to the Chargers on a lucrative contract, and then just is like, I'm gonna play here, get injured, and then just not play good once I come back from injury. He has shown nothing. Then as for the Jaguars, I mean, great performance when they needed to. Trevor Lawrence stepped up in a big way. I mean, they needed to win that one on Saturday against the Titans to win the AFC South, and they did. And this one, they're going to get a home field advantage. Judging from that Titans game, Jacksonville has a really good home fan base, and I'm sure a lot more fans are going to be tuning into this one since it is the playoffs. I think their first playoffs since Blake Bortles and Leonard Fournette, so definitely a big playoff performance that they're going to need out of the Jaguars. And another Coach of the Year candidate, in my opinion, Doug Peterson, definitely deserves to be nominated. I mean, this Jaguars team looked terrible under Urban Meyer. A lot of people were questioning Trevor Lawrence's future in the league. If he's going to be a bust. Travis Etienne was injured last season. Overall, nothing really looked good for the Jags, but they picked it up, and now they're the 4th seed in the playoffs. And they look like they're rolling right now. Travis Etienne, great. He's a decent runner. Trevor Lawrence has stepped it up a whole bunch. The offensive line needs work, but hasn't really shown anything too bad. But they're definitely gonna have trouble against Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa. So, I think they're gonna have a tough time against them. The wide receiver core for the Jags is absolutely amazing. Though Zay Jones, Marvin Jones, Christian Kirk. I mean, how can you really, like, it's nothing special. Like, you don't have any 3 big names, right? But it's a solid wide receiver core. Like, they're dependable. They're gonna be able to get to the ball. Defensively, Javon Walker, their pick, is an instant impact for the team. Secondary, again, needs a little bit of work. But I feel like the Jaguars stepped up in a big way. And I might go with an upset here and choose the Jaguars to win. Now, the only reason why I say it's an upset is because I feel like the Chargers, everybody says the Chargers would probably win this one, which, I mean, looking at it, I feel like anybody would say in a heartbeat that the Chargers are winning. But I feel like the Jaguars just are hitting a roll. They're hitting a certain spot, and they're just going. They're going right now. And Trevor Lawrence, he's looking hot right now. He's on fire. He's on fire. And the Chargers they're just kind of slowing up, in my opinion. Saw nothing really impressive against that Broncos team, so definitely hurt them when I was choosing this game against the Broncos, or their performance against the Broncos. So I just went ahead and chose the Jaguars. I mean, not much of a underdog though, because it's gonna be at home. But I feel like a lot of people are seeing this one saying the Chargers, but I think give me the Jags here to move on to the second round. Now moving on to the next matchup, we have the number 3 Bengals going up against the number 6 Ravens. Now the Bengals looking pretty good. Joe Burrow said, this winning the AFC North is just a standard for us now. So, I mean, hey, he's on it. He's on it right now. Not much to say about that Bengals team. They're just a good team overall. Nothing negative on my part to really say about them. And then as for the Ravens, it does look like Lamar Jackson isn't going to be playing in this one. Again, no new news coming out about that. But it does look like Lamar might be out for this one. So that's going to be definitely a big hit. Bengals just played the Ravens last week on Sunday. And the Bengals won. The Ravens, I mean, they look okay, but nothing too impressive. Definitely, since Lamar Jackson isn't playing, it's definitely taking a big hit. So, not much to say here. Bengals just beat the Ravens, and I think they're going to beat them again. This one's going to be at Cincinnati. I think it should be pretty easy for them to win, especially if Lamar doesn't play, which I feel like is a pretty big possibility. Now moving on to the last matchup in the AFC first round, we have the Dolphins at the Bills. The Bills putting up a really good performance since the Damar Hamlin injury. Great that he's healthy. I believe he's been discharged from the Buffalo hospital now. He was discharged from the Cincinnati hospital a while back. He went back to the Buffalo hospital, and he was discharged there. So great, everything's good with Damar Hamlin. And the Bills, I mean, storybook beginning to that Patriots game, getting a kickoff return touchdown, first play of the game. Couldn't have written it any better. 3 years, 3 months, Damar Hamlin number 3. I mean, you just gotta applause, okay? Just applause for the NFL scriptwriter. I mean, chef's kiss. That was just amazing. Couldn't have written it any better. Could never been any better. Dolphins. Tua is not going to be playing in this one, so I'm just going to already put it here. Bills moving on to the second round, but I'm not gonna write the Dolphins off. Oh, it's over. Tua's not playing, but I believe they are playing Skylar Thompson. And he has not looked good. Dolphins, just I don't know. It's interesting because I feel like Tua at quarterback was something, and I feel like now a lot of Tua people are discrediting him, or Tua haters are discrediting him. But I feel like all those head injuries definitely is something to watch for, because in this sport people get hit in the head all the time, but it can cause long-term damage. So it just makes sense that they're not playing him if he's not all right already. Just don't play him. I don't know why you would. And the Bills just kind of look on fire right now, so I feel like the Bills should win this one. And granted, they're playing pretty good too. The Bills are playing really good, so had to put them through. And since Dolphins are playing with Tua, had to give the Bills the win there. Now, moving back to the NFC in the second round, in the divisional games, we have the number 1 Eagles going up against the number 5 Cowboys. Now, the Eagles getting some rest, and a lot of people are questioning my opinion on the Eagles, okay? I love Jalen Hurts, right? Jalen Hurts, one of my favorite players playing right now. Him and DK, probably my favorite players right now. Even though I'm a Lions fan, but Jalen Hurts just looks good. Didn't play too well against the Giants, but he's coming off that shoulder injury. Okay. Now he's gonna be able to practice, get some rest, and the entire Eagles team needs some rest. They are playing this one without Lane Johnson, which is definitely gonna hurt them again due to that Cowboys pass rush. But I feel like the rest of the Eagles offensive line is great anyway. It's not like Lane Johnson was like he was one of the best players on that offensive line, but it's not like he was the player on the offensive line. It's everybody else is still good on that offensive line, so I don't really have much of an issue with Lane Johnson being out, but it is still an important loss that is to be noted for this one. But offensively, Jalen Hurts, easy. Great quarterback, MVP candidate. I feel like he's definitely an MVP candidate for the season. I don't think he's going to win, but definitely MVP candidate. Miles Sanders, great running back, doing his thing. Devontae Smith is just him. A.J. Brown is just him. So, I really can't say anything else about that Eagles offense. It just looks great. Defensively, C.J. Gardner-Johnson, just was in the six-way tie for interception leader with 6 interceptions. Great there. James Bradbury and Darius Slade doing their thing. Secondary's pretty good. The defensive line I kind of worry about since they're a little bit older, but the Cowboys have a good offensive line as well, so it's definitely going to be an interesting matchup. But again, the Eagles played the Cowboys twice. Again, one of those in-division matchups. Now, I believe, let me go ahead and make sure that I'm going to be saying the right information here. But the Eagles beat the Cowboys 26-17. And then in their next matchup against the Cowboys ended up winning 40-34. But to be noted there, Gardner Minshew was playing at quarterback when the Eagles did lose them that second time, but they still allowed a Gardner Minshew-led Eagles team to put up 34 and barely won. The Eagles just had a bad game-winning drive, and that's without Jalen Hurts. The first one they had with Jalen Hurts, and they beat him. So the Eagles beat him. I feel like this is where you kind of see that Cowboys offense falter. So I'm gonna have to go ahead and put the Eagles through. Again, another base pick that I kind of feel bad about. I like picking the underdogs, right? I kind of like picking like the obscure picks, but I'm a Cowboys hater. Basically, the rest of the nation, they're all Cowboys haters. But there are some Philadelphia haters out there. There's some like haters of the city of Philadelphia. So really, it's a double-edged sword. Okay, the Cowboys win, you're never gonna hear about. You're never not gonna hear some Cowboys fan talking about it. And then when the Eagles win, the city of Philadelphia will probably be in shambles. Okay, so I'm not sure about that. But yeah, I'll just go ahead and put the Eagles through here. I feel like they're the better team. They've shown that they're the better team already against the Cowboys, so just give me them here. And the Eagles have more rest than the Cowboys, so another reason why to pick the Eagles. And then next up we have the number 3 Vikings going up against the number 2 49ers. Gonna be interesting matchup here, but again, 49ers are such a complete team. Christian McCaffrey looks great. I already said all that I can say about the 49ers in that first matchup. I mean, the 49ers, they look great. So, I'm just going to put them through here. Going up against the Minnesota Vikings, too. I don't know. I said the 49ers probably have the easiest road to the NFC Championship. They have to beat the Seahawks. Should be pretty easy. Then they have to beat either the Vikings or the Giants. Should be pretty easy. So they're already in the NFC Championship, I feel. Like they should be a lock-in for the NFC Championship. So, and again, another base pick. Feel bad for making that, but it's the 49ers. Like, they should definitely make it through. I mean, that schedule looks definitely easier than what the Eagles have if they have to go up against the Buccaneers or Cowboys. So, should be pretty easy. And then going to the AFC here, starting at this left, we got the number 1 Chiefs going up against the number 4 Jags. Now, you know, the Jaguars are the Cinderella story of the season, right? Nobody really thought they were gonna make it. They made it. You know, I don't know if I've said this before on the channel, but I mean, me and my friend, we were looking like when the season started, right? We were looking at analysts' predictions for who's gonna win each division, right? And everybody had the Colts winning, except for one man, and I'll try and find it and put it in the video. I don't even know his name, but if I were to believe in anything, you know, I would believe in what this man has to say, because he's the only analyst I've ever seen out of a big sports network, right? He's coming out of CBS. He said the Jaguars were going to win the AFC, and the AFC South, right? And me and my friend, we were laughing. We're like, this dude, he really believes that the Jaguars are going to beat the Colts, the Titans. I mean, they're probably going to beat the Texans. So, the Colts and Titans for that championship spot. I was convinced that it was going to be Colts or Titans that were going to be AFC South champions. And the Jaguars just snuck their way in here, okay? Granted, the AFC South wasn't really that hard. Colts had JT injured for a little bit, you know, they had for the majority of the season. Titans, I don't even know. I mean, of course, the injuries to Ryan Tannehill hurt, and the loss of A.J. Brown, like trading away A.J. Brown, definitely hurt, but I didn't think it was going to be that drastic of a loss, and it was pretty bad. I mean, the Titans were still up for the AFC South Championship, and, you know, Tannehill was out. Derrick Henry didn't do good against the Jaguars whatsoever. They had Dobbs at quarterback. It just was a dumpster fire for the Titans when they most needed to win. Just everything was falling apart for them. And Jaguars were able to get it done. Chiefs, they're just chiefing right now, okay? I mean, they're just the Chiefs, okay? It might be the wrong verb for the Chiefs, but they are definitely chiefing here, okay? They're the Chiefs. What else can I say? You know, they lose Tyreek Hill. Everybody's like, oh no, they lost Tyreek Hill. I mean, Even I doubted them. Okay, I had them going second in the AFC West. I had the Chargers winning the AFC West. I had Justin Herbert as my MVP candidate. But my predictions are just terrible. I mean, I had Najee Harris as rushing yards leader. Homie was terrible. He's bad. And then I had Justin Herbert MVP candidate, gets injured within like the first 4 weeks, and then he's out of the conversation. Right? He hasn't really done anything spectacular. I mean, I believe I had Justin Jefferson as receiving yards leader, which he's up there, but I don't think he's number one. I'm not sure. But anyway, regardless, I had the Chiefs. You know, a lot of people doubted the Chiefs. I doubted the Chiefs, but they showed. Okay, we lost Tyreek Hill, but we still have Patrick Mahomes. Okay, they're like, yeah, we still have Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce. You don't need maybe this offense. All right, just put no offensive line, no running back. Just put Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce alone. And they're soloing. I don't care what anybody else says, but that is the greatest duo I've ever seen in my life, right? I lived through a little bit of the Brady to Gronk. I mean, my existence in the football world is pretty limited, but this is definitely one of the best duos I've ever seen. And I feel like the Chiefs just have a great team, and I think they should be able to beat the Jags. Now, there's arguments that the Jags could make a big Cinderella, story, make it to the AFC Championship. That's pretty big. But they already had to go through the Chargers. A lot of people already put them down at the first round, and I'm having them go to the second. But like the Chiefs, they're not beating the Chiefs. Please, man, please, they're not beating the Chiefs. And that might be really bad though if the Jaguars do beat the Chiefs, and people can probably clip that, but nobody's actually watching these videos, so maybe nobody will clip that. Okay, maybe nobody will ever hear me say that, but the Jaguars not beating the Chiefs. Chiefs undoubtedly are going. I feel like they were already unanimously in the AFC Championship. Like it was Chiefs and who? Chiefs and who? Because nobody's beating the Chiefs. It's not the Chargers, and it's not the Jaguars, so it's got to be the Chiefs. Now, moving down to the AFC divisional here with the Bengals versus Bills. Now, this one, I thought it was going to be played at a neutral zone, or not neutral zone, that's a neutral arena, neutral venue, neutral game, okay? Due to the Damar Hamlin injury. But looks like it's gonna be because I looked it up, right? Because I didn't want to be wrong and say this is gonna be played at a neutral site and then it's like played in Buffalo. So it is played in Buffalo for this one, I believe. We'll have to see. Because this game was stopped short due to the Damar Hamlin injury. So I mean, I can't wait to see what this one's gonna be like. Okay, the Bengals were mad that the game got canceled. The Bills might be seeking some revenge, even though it was a routine hit by T. Higgins, so it was like nothing nefarious. It was just like, kind of just an accident that happens with the job. But the Bills might be looking for blood out here, and it is gonna be in Buffalo. There's probably a lot of Bengals haters out there. I mean, I'll really feel bad for T. Higgins though. He's probably gonna take a lot of the brunt of the hate. For him, I know he was taking it pretty hard too when everything happened, so he's probably gonna take a lot of the hatred here. But I think it's gonna be, I think this is gonna be one of the best playoff games. Mark my words, okay? It's gonna be a cold Buffalo game. Both teams, they're used to the cold. Cincinnati's cold. I mean, the Bills just are a great team. They're a great team. Bengals are a great team. Like, I really hope this game is good. But I do have the Bills winning here. I think it's gonna be close. Don't get me wrong. I'm not automatically discrediting the Bengals, but it just, I feel like the Bills, they're looking for something, and they're trekking. So Definitely is going to be a great game because one of these teams are going to have to lose, right? You know, they can't both win. So I would have to give it to the Bills here. I feel like they're just the better team. They've looked better going up against better teams, but we'll have to see. I mean, the Bengals might have something up their sleeve to beat them, but I feel like the Bills, they're winning this one for more personal reasons, so I feel like they wanted a little bit more. Now, the championship games, okay? First starting off with the NFC. Oh man, I just realized that I have like the most base pick. It's just 1 versus 2, 1 versus 2, okay? I promise you I'm not a based NFL watcher. But this, yeah, I feel bad now because it's like there's nothing too exciting really. It's just 1 versus 2, 1 versus 2. But the NFC Championship game, we have the Eagles versus the 49ers. Philadelphia, they've gone through Dallas. And that's it. That's about it. They haven't beat anybody else. But they're in the NFC Championship now. Jalen Hurts, you know, at this moment, he might know or might have already heard that he's lost the MVP race, right, to Patrick Mahomes. Because I think Patrick Mahomes is probably going to win MVP. He's got to be fired up, okay? This team's got to be fired up. NFC Championship, 49ers, they're a good team, great team. But my question is here, is this too big of a stage for Brock Purdy? He hasn't played in anything remotely close to this, okay? You know, playing at Iowa State for all 4 years, okay? I was corrected in my other video. Brock Purdy did not transfer from anywhere. He played at Iowa State for 4 years, right? So he played at Iowa State. Nothing remotely close to what he's about to play in. Does he have that dog in him? I don't know. That's just a question. Not doubting him. Just a question, right? Because Jalen Hurts also hasn't really played. I mean, he's played in a national championship game. Didn't play too well, right? But he's played on stages like this. He hasn't played in anything in the pros. But, you know, this is only his second year. I mean, who knows? But I feel that this one might be a pretty good game. And I might have to go with a little bit of a upset pick, okay? Because I've said a lot of good things about the 49ers, right? And a lot of people might be confused. They're like, why? You said all these great things about the 49ers. But I'm going to have to put the Eagles through. And not only because they're just the 1 seed, because, right, your record doesn't mean anything talent-wise, but there's something special with this Eagles team, okay? I'm doing this one for you, Andre. You know, my fellow Philadelphia Eagles fan. I feel like the Eagles, they might have it. They might have that stroke of luck to get to the Super Bowl again. Just like they did when they played against the Patriots in that one Super Bowl. I just had my mic. But in that one Super Bowl, and they won with Nick Foles, right? And maybe they just might have another little stroke of just luck. They might have it. And I think they will. It's definitely going to be tough. 49ers, tough opponent. You know, they've been here. And they might be hungry for another Super Bowl. And we could see a 49ers Chiefs Super Bowl again. And that one was a good Super Bowl. But Jimmy G kinda didn't do his thing. So will Brock Purdy start in the Super Bowl? That'd be, imagine the headlines though, okay? Like the press is already going hard for Brock Purdy. Pretty good, you know? So maybe this might be the greatest season ever written by NFL scripters, right? You have Trey Lance go down, Jimmy G go down. Okay, you get Mr. Irrelevant Brock Purdy, right? Okay, now he's gonna win 10. The 49ers are gonna win 10 straight games to make it to the second seed in the NFC, and then we're gonna have Brock Purdy start through the entire playoffs and make it to the Super Bowl, and maybe even win. Imagine the storyline. NFL scripters would be in their bag. Man, the NFL scripters would be in their bag. But I feel like the Eagles kind of put a spoiler to the 49ers season, even though it's great. You know, it's been a great run. You know, through the playoffs while winning 2 straight. That's 12 straight games. I mean, who could say they've won 12 straight football games? Nobody. It's definitely a good win streak, but I feel like the Eagles put an end to it here. The Eagles, they've worked hard, and they were undefeated for a long time for a reason. And I think it's this reason to make it to the Super Bowl. So I got the Eagles winning. Now, Chiefs-Bills AFC Championship, a rematch of last year's AFC divisional matchup, which actually won Game of the Year, and that was a great game. You know, who knows if the coin toss may have, you know, put an end to the Bills' season, but I mean, that was just a great game. Hopefully we have another great game. And for the AFC and for the Super Bowl. Like a chance to go to the Super Bowl and have that same game that we had last year. Oh, man. You cannot tell me that it could be any better, right? Now, Bills. You know, they're out for blood. Stephon Diggs out for blood. I mean, hardest picture of all time is him, you know, watching the Chiefs make it to the AFC Championship game. And, you know, just him watching it. Cold picture. Josh Allen, he's stalling out in the playoffs, kind of, you know. He might be the next Aaron Rodgers. The way he plays in the playoffs, the way he loses though, because Aaron Rodgers has not played good in the playoffs as of recently, but Josh Allen has like played good, but he just couldn't pull it out for some reason. And I think this one's gonna be a good one. It's gonna be a good one, but I'm gonna have to take the Chiefs here. I have to take the Chiefs. I mean, again, I feel kind of based putting a 1-on-1, but I feel like the Chiefs are just a better team. They're the 1 seed for a reason, whether that be out of a technicality, but they're still number 1 seed for a reason. And I think Patrick Mahomes, it'll be great for Patrick Mahomes and that Chiefs team to show that they didn't need Tyreek Hill, right? Like, you know, the entire sports media said they would need him. They're still a great team. And they still performed really well this season, so I think they should get the win against the Bills. So, now for the Super Bowl. Super Bowl 57. We have the Chiefs versus the Eagles in Arizona in the Cardinals Stadium. Big game, right? Chiefs coming in this one, beat the Jags, beat the Bills. Had a great season. Patrick Mahomes proving everybody wrong. You know, arguably the best duo between Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes. I mean, great season by the Chiefs. Eagles, you know, they started out undefeated. 6-0, 8-0? I don't even remember. But they were undefeated for a long time. And they did it. They got it. They got this far to the Super Bowl. You know, Jalen Hurts probably lost the MVP race to Patrick Mahomes. And, you know, he's probably like, why? Maybe this might be this might be this. Okay, if the Super Bowl is this, it could either be a blowout or a really close game, because it's either the Chiefs are too good for the Eagles or the Eagles might pull out a close one. I don't really know, but I kind of alluded to who's gonna win the Super Bowl, and it's gonna be the Kansas City Chiefs. Okay, another round of applause for the Kansas City Chiefs there, winning another Lombardi Trophy. Now they made it to the Super Bowl. They beat the 49ers, right? They beat the 49ers in the Super Bowl. They go back. They lose to the Buccaneers. Oh, that hurt, right? That hurt. Then they made it to the AFC Championship game and they lost to the Bengals. And they got to watch the Bengals losing the Super Bowl. I think Patrick Mahomes is coming out this one. He said he's ready to be an old head. Because I believe at the age of 27, he's already like the oldest AFC quarterback playing right now. He's ready to be an old head. He's ready to take on that role. And he's ready to prove everybody wrong. Become a 2-time Super Bowl champion. And reestablish this Chiefs dynasty. And, ride off into the sunset of another offseason for another season. And they're going to be Super Bowl champions. And that'll be it. That'll be it for my playoff predictions. I'm sure everybody's going to let me have it in the comments. Or nobody, because nobody's going to watch this. Because I don't know why you would. But the Buccaneers, they're probably like, oh, the Buccaneers are beating the Cowboys. You're a base fan. You don't know anything about football, right? And then they're going to say the Giants beat the Vikings. Base fan, and I don't know anything about football. And then the Eagles beating the 49ers. I know some friends are going to be on me for that one, bro. I know some friends are going to be on me for that one. But I have to put them in their place, okay? The 49ers have to be put in their place, and it's going to be by the Eagles, okay? And I know Chargers fans might be a little upset that they're going to be first-round exits. But Justin Herbert's a social media quarterback. I think it's going to be a close one. But yeah, definitely definitely tell me what you think in the comments below. And leave a like while you're also down there. Subscribe. Almost there. And also, while we're leaving this one, I do want to thank everybody for getting that LeBron mini. That took a lot of editing for me. I learned a lot though from it. That I've been putting into my newer videos. So, but I do want to thank you guys for getting that to 1,000 views. 19 likes, I believe, still. While it's up, let me just go ahead and double check. But I believe it is at 1,000 views. 1,000 views, 24 likes. So I definitely want to thank you guys for all of that. I mean, and all the new subscribers as well. Everybody that came from that video. I do want to just thank everybody again for that. I mean, definitely a big achievement. I've only been doing YouTube for, not even that long. A little over a year. Probably 18 months. Yeah, probably 18 months. Just a little bit over a year. And already at my first video is already at 1,000. I didn't think it'd be that video, to be honest, because I didn't really think it was anything too special, but a lot of you guys thought it was, and it's definitely gotten out there. So I just want to thank you guys and all that positive reception that I got on the video. I do want to thank everybody for that. I just can't be any more happy with that. So definitely all the praise goes to you guys for that video. Thank you for getting it out there for those 1,000 views. So that's pretty crazy. We're still on the road to 50 though. We're at 38 right now. We're on that road to 50. So please share with anybody you know to get this channel to 50 subscribers. That'd be great. But yeah, that'll be all for today's video. Just let me know what you guys think and share with anybody that you might think would like it. But that'll be all, and thank you for watching all the way through. Bye.